Why do you still pay with cash when you have People's Pay mobile app from People's Bank? Scan the Lanka QR code and make your payments with People's Pay mobile payment app from People's Bank.
In a few moments, the news.
Why do you still pay with cash when you have People's Pay mobile app from People's Bank?
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(8:45). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Gio Garaj and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The Finance Minister says the government looked into the grievances of the common masses during this budget amidst the corona pandemic challenge. Budget 2022 proposes 15,000 million rupees to be allocated for relief packages for low-income families. Budget 2022 annual warrant for state expenditure is to be made a quarterly warrant. Additional 30,000 million rupees allocated to rectify teacher principal salary anomalies. Additional funds allocated to the budget for the families of the missing persons. Cigarette price to increase. COVID, 532 new cases, 23 deaths, 333 recoveries reported today. The National Transport Commission says the bus transport will take a few weeks to return to normalcy. In news overseas, COVID Dutch to set for partial lockdown as infections surge. And in sports news, Brazil becomes the first South American nation to qualify for the 2022 World Cup. Those are the headlines, and now more on to the details of the local news. Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa says the government looked into the grievances of the common masses during this budget amidst the corona pandemic challenge. Many people's representatives say it is a people-centric budget presented under difficult circumstances. Minister Basil Rajapaksa also stated that the government has stuck to the word and the policy manifesto even at a difficult time. Especially, the government was very successful in the vaccination drive and stands high compared to the other world countries. The minister also said steps have been taken to provide pension to non-pension receiving senior citizens. A sum of 100 billion rupees has been set aside for this purpose. Effective measures have been taken through this budget to empower the differently able citizens with the support of the Ayurvedic medication and indigenous medicines. 500 million rupees has been allocated for the development of Buddhist temples, viharas and other religious sites. And a further 500 billion rupees has been set aside to provide motorcycles to the government servants. Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa says an allocation of around 15,000 million rupees will be made to implement a program identifying the low-income families at the Grama Niladhari divisional level and to provide them with relief packages to alleviate the pressure of the soaring cost of living. He made these proposals while delivering the budget speech for the fiscal year 2022 in Parliament earlier today. In addition, he proposed to extend the provision of the nutrition package for pregnant women, each valued at 10,000 rupees for a period of 24 months. To ensure the nutritional requirements of both the baby and the mother, the Home Security Program will be prioritized with nutrition needs for the newborn children by supporting the nursing mothers, the minister said. Apart from the existing allocation for this program, a further 1,000 million rupees will be set aside for this purpose, he stated further. In the meantime, concessions will be provided to school vans, three-wheelers and private bus owners who were affected by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The minister proposed 400 million rupees, 600 million rupees and 1,500 million rupees be allocated to provide relief to three school transport vehicle owners, three-wheeler owners and private bus owners respectively. Delivering his inaugural budget speech today, Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa proposed to make the annual warrant for state expenditure a quarterly warrant. Minister Rajapaksa commenced the second reading of the appropriation bill, thus the budget speech, for the fiscal year 2022 this afternoon. This budgetary proposal expects to encourage the state institutions to pre-plan their procurements, salaries, allowances, loan services and maintenance expenditure for establishing financial discipline, the Finance Minister added. Sri Lanka's Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa says that an additional 30,000 million rupees will be allocated to rectify the salary anomalies of the teachers and principals, given that the government, through the budget decisions dated 30th August 2021, has agreed as a matter of policy to eliminate the teacher-principal salary anomalies, thereby ending the trade union activities, and therefore the expeditious implementation of such policy, I propose an additional 30,000 million rupees be included for salary payments. This is in addition to the current allocation of over 109,000 million rupees on teachers and principal salaries, he added, delivering the 2022 budget speech today. Meanwhile, he also said that the objective of making rural schools attractive, the program to establish 1,000 national schools, is implemented as a priority development project of the government by establishing national schools in 123 divisional secretary divisions where there is no national school and uplifting the facilities of the secondary schools. Thereby classrooms, desks, chairs, toilets, drinking water, electricity, renovation of teachers' quarters, provision of school instruments, laboratory building and required equipment, aesthetic units and required facilities will be provided and reform will be introduced to maintain technical subject stream, he said. The Finance Minister also said that 2,200 million rupees has been allocated through the appropriation bill to establish 1,000 national schools, and it is expected to complete this program by implementing it expeditiously within the next 3 years. In order to accelerate the program and for other development in the education sector, the Minister proposed to include an allocation of 5,300 million rupees as a budget proposal in addition to the already made allocation. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Why do you still pay with cash when you have People's Pay mobile app from People's Bank?
And we continue with more local news. The government has allocated an additional fund in the 2022 budget for the families of the missing persons. Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa said that over the years, funds had been allocated in the budget to assist the families of the missing. He said an additional 300 million rupees has been allocated in the 2022 budget to assist the families of the missing. Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa in his budget speech for the fiscal year 2022 said that tax on cigarettes is proposed to be increased with immediate effect. Accordingly, the current retail price of a stick of cigarette will be moved up by 5 rupees. The government expects a revenue of 8 billion rupees through this initiative, he noted. In addition, the excise tax is proposed to be increased with immediate effect. An additional revenue of 25 billion rupees is expected through this tax increase. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed 23 new coronavirus-related deaths for November 11th, pushing the death toll in the country due to COVID virus to 13,950. The deaths confirmed today include 11 males and 22 females. One of the victims is between the age of 30 to 59 years, while the other is aged below 30 years. The remaining 21 are in the age group of 60 years and above. Meanwhile, the Health Minister reported that another 532 persons have tested positive for the novel coronavirus so far today. This brings the total tally of COVID-19 cases confirmed in the country to 548,593. In the meantime, the total recoveries from the novel coronavirus moved to 523,122 today after 333 patients who were under the medical care were discharged upon returning to health. More than 11,000 infected patients are currently being treated across the island. The National Transport Commission says that the bus transport will take a few weeks to return to normalcy. Some SLTB buses are not operating due to some issues with employees and lower number of passenger turnover. According to the information received, around 50% of the private bus transport is being operated between the provinces. It is used to show 90% transport earlier during the normal situation. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The finance minister says the government looked into the grievances of the common masses during this budget amidst the corona pandemic challenge. Budget 2022 proposes 15,000 million rupees to be allocated for relief packages to low-income families. Budget 2022 annual warrant for state expenditure to be made quarterly warrant. Additional 30,000 million rupees allocated to rectify teacher-principal salary anomalies. Additional funds allocated in the budget for the families of the missing persons. Cigarette price to increase. COVID, 532 new cases, 23 deaths, 333 recoveries reported today. The National Transport Commission says the bus transport will take a few weeks to return to normalcy. And that was the local news.
Why do you still pay with cash when you have People's Pay mobile app from People's Bank? Scan the Lanka QR code and make your payments with People's Pay mobile payment app from People's Bank.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. SLBC, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. SLBC, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by SLBC Vidya Mahatmya.
The main news story for tonight, the final decision on the Muthurajavala Forest Reserve will be delivered within the next 2 weeks. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera said that many discussions are being held with several parties and stakeholders in this regard. The minister reiterated that the people's land has not been acquired in this connection. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by SLBC Vidya Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from SLBC.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
And in Washington tonight, health authorities have requested the public to follow the health guidelines strictly as the corona infections cross the 600 mark for the fourth day. Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asala Gunawardana said that it is a high risk for the public to get involved with large gatherings or get-togethers. He requested the public to refrain from travelling between the provinces. He pointed out that 500 to 600 corona patients are still being reported daily from the country. Therefore, he emphasized that the pandemic can spread rapidly again if the public act irresponsibly. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Select technical and vocational courses with proper guidance. Visit regional career guidance centers or visit nearest district divisional secretariat offices and meet career guidance practitioners or skills development officers. Be aware on unregistered institute which promote widely. Don't waste your valuable time and money. Visit www.tvec.gov.lk for more information. Message from Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the World News. Singles Day, Alibaba's annual event sees slowest ever sales growth. COVID, Dutch to set for partial lockdown as infections surge. COP26, compromise as leaders near climate deal. Those are the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the world news. Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba's Singles Day is known for being the world's biggest online shopping extravaganza. But this year it has been a more toned-down affair as Beijing cracks down on businesses and economic growth slows. Sales for the 11-day event rose at their slowest rate since it was launched in the year 2009, up 8.5% on last year. However, customer spending still hit a fresh record high of $84.5 billion. Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte is set to declare Western Europe's first partial COVID lockdown of the winter with 3 weeks of restrictions for shops, sports and catering. While his caretaker government is responding to record infections and rising intensive care cases in the hospitals. Much of Europe is facing a surge in cases blamed partly on the low vaccine take-up in several countries. A draft agreement of COP26 climate summit has watered down commitments to end the use of coal and other fossil fuels as countries race to reach a deal after 2 weeks of talk. While the language around the fossil fuels has been softened, the inclusion of a commitment in the final deal would be seen as a landmark moment. A deal must be agreed by the end of the summit, which is in its final hours. The UN meeting is seen as crucial for limiting the effects of global warming. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. Singles Day, Alibaba's annual event sees slowest ever sales growth. COVID, Dutch to set down for partial lockdown as infections surge. COP26, call compromise as leaders near climate deal. And that was the world news.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
And in development news, the first phase of the cancer treatment unit at Kandy National Hospital was declared open under the patronage of Minister Kelly Rambukwala yesterday. This is the largest cancer treatment unit in the country. The unit is constructed with the modern facilities. The hospital unit will consist of 600 beds. A sum of 1.9 billion rupees will be spent on this project. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on with sports news.
And in sports news, Brazil became the first South American nation to qualify for the 2020 World Cup with 1-0 home win over Colombia. Lucas Paqueta scored the only goal at the Neo Química Arena in Sao Paulo for the 5-time World Cup winners. The midfielder finished off a move involving Paris Saint-Germain pair Marquinhos and Neymar on 22 minutes. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 Go sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, Capital Alliance Limited announced its intentions to list on the Colombo Stock Exchange by way of an equity initial public offering. It will be the first standalone non-bank primary dealer to debut at the stock exchange. This issue will open on November 25th, 2021. The highly anticipated virtual investor forum commenced today. It was aimed at creating awareness among potential investors prior to the IPO in order for them to have a thorough understanding about the company and its future growth strategies. That is the business news, and economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 Go sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And in economic news, remittances by Sri Lankans employed abroad have been an important inflow of foreign exchange into the country with an annual average of value over $7 billion in the past 5 years. Considering the importance of this steady non-debt inflow, the government and the Central Bank of Sri Lanka are in the process of taking steps to ensure that the remittances reach their full potential in a manner that is beneficial to the worker as well as to the country. That was the economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning with video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says showers will occur at times in the western and Sabarakamu provinces and the Galle and Mathura districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places elsewhere in the evening or night. Fairly heavy falls above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the Uva, Central, North Central and Northwestern provinces. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather was observed to be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature was around 28 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 24 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in selected spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be around 25 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index is 23, which shows fair condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms for long-term exposure. And that was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning with video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. The Finance Minister says the government looked into the grievances of the common masses during this budget amidst the corona pandemic challenge. Budget 2022 proposes 15,000 million rupees to be allocated for relief packages to low-income families. Budget 2022 annual warrant for state expenditure to be made quarterly warrant. Additional 30,000 million rupees allocated to rectify teacher-principal salary anomalies. Additional funds allocated in the budget for the families of the missing persons. Cigarette price to increase. COVID, 532 new cases, 23 deaths and 333 recoveries reported today. The National Transport Commission says the bus transport will take a few weeks to return to normalcy. In news overseas, COVID Dutch to set for partial lockdown as infections surge. And in sports news, Brazil becomes the first South American nation to qualify for the 2022 World Cup. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. And now it's back to your Friday evening host and my friend Saudi Thamam on the other side of the glass funnel after some time to keep you entertained.